Hello guys, so Merry Christmas first of all, and a Happy New Year. And I know I haven't been making tutorials in a really long time, so this may come as a shock, but I guess I just decided to make a tutorial for once for you guys. And it's a 3-packet cut that I really enjoy performing, and I hope you guys like it too. It's called Wallhack. Check it out. Alright, so here's the slow motion performance. And that's basically the whole cut. If you have trouble along the way or after you're done with the tutorial, you can always come back to this section to see how I've done it. So without further ado, let's go on to the step-by-step explanation. Alright, so this flourish is not very long, so I'll just take my time to explain each step as best I can. So it's very simple from the start. You just have to get into Charlie position. So most of the time I think lifting about half the deck is a good start. So once you've gotten into this position, just grab this top packet with your hand like this, basically like in middle grip. And then you're going to turn it over so that your thumb and index finger can grab the edges of the long edges of the this top packet, like so. Then using these fingers as like the supporting base for this packet, you're going to split this packet open like this. Now what you're going to do is this bottom packet that's being straddled by your dealer's grip hand, you're gonna kind of let it fall into your hand like this. So it's kind of like supported by these 3 fingers with the corner in between these 2 knuckles. So once again, just like this, and then you let this fall down. So what that allows you to do is to bring this packet inwards like this. So the one-handed version of that motion would look something like this, but in this cut you can actually use your non-dealer's grip hand to help that motion. Use this finger as a supporting base for this packet, and then you're gonna bring this packet inwards like this. That's the general motion. But what you're actually going to do is when this packet goes in, this packet that's being held in your non-dealer's grip hand is also going to move in with this packet, like so. So you end up with kind of like a 3 packets all hinged with their edge supported by these fingers in this way. So this is the general position in which you're going to end up after this motion. So one more time, just split it open and then move those 2 packets inwards like this. So this is where you want to end up. Alright, so now you've got that one opening motion down. When you're in this position, what you want to do is you're going to slide this middle packet outwards like so, and your thumb of the dealer's grip hand is going to contact the top edge, or the front edge rather, of this top packet, and this top packet will then be supported by your pinky and your thumb like this. Alright, so once again, what you want to do is slide this packet out while the thumb touches this packet's front edge, and as you slide this packet out, you're going to use the middle finger as the pivoting point, so it's going to come out like this. And what you can do is, if you're familiar with Sybil already, you can kind of support that turning out motion, that pivoting motion, with these 3 fingers, sort of like in a Sybil grip. So as you're rotating that packet out, you can use these 3 fingers as like the way to grab onto this packet as you're sliding it out. And at the same time, your thumb will contact this edge, or this front edge of the top packet. Then this is kind of where it gets a little bit tricky, because you're going to be doing 2 motions at the same time. So the first motion, I'll explain this packet first. Your thumb is going to come over to this corner of the packet, and your middle finger is going to touch this corner of the packet so that it can spin like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to spin this packet over, and at the same time you're going to do this one-handed cut. Okay, so the way that works, if you've already seen my ambush tutorial, you already know this cut. But you're gonna, when you're in this position with the top packet supported by your thumb and pinky, you're gonna kind of pull these fingers inwards so that this packet can flip out, or kind of like support itself up onto these 3 fingers. So without this packet, this is what the packet kind of looks like. So it's this cut. Okay, so you might want to practice this cut just with your one hand if you want to get this down, so that you can perform this flourish more smoothly. But this is the cut that you need to kind of learn in order to bring it all together. So once again, while you're in this position, you slide this packet out, and then here's what it looks like when you do it together. This middle finger actually helps to twirl this packet using those 2 corners that I mentioned earlier. And then you're going to do that cut. See? So now this packet has cleared the top packet, and the top packet is now kind of straddled between your thumb and pinky finger in the dealer's grip hand, and this packet has now spun over in this way. So one more time. You spin this packet out, you contact this corner and this corner, and then your thumb goes to this edge. You twirl this with your middle finger, and your index finger can help as well, and you do that one-handed cut. So now you're in this position. Alright? So that's how you need to, that's what you need to learn to progress with the cut. Okay, so up to this point, here's what you should be able to do. Now you're here. Now what you need to do is, it's not as difficult anymore, but it might be a bit tricky balancing these packets. What you need to do is you need to bring this packet flush with this packet by turning your dealer's grip hand over like this. Alright? So it's a very simple motion once you're able to progress to that part, where you twirl this packet, you do the one-handed cut, and then it's actually a very natural motion, because the flourish actually kind of naturally leads into this motion. You just bring your entire dealer's grip hand over. Now what you want to do is you're going to twirl this packet inwards again. Now this packet is a bit more thick at this point because you've just added another packet onto it, so you might not be able to contact the corners just as nicely, so your other fingers will kind of have to help with this motion so that the packet does not fall apart. But you're going to twirl it, kind of flip it over once again. So once you've gotten into that position where the 2 packets meet with each other, they're flush with each other, at this point you're going to have to make some room by lifting this packet in your dealer's grip hand up a bit, so there's room inside your palm, and you flip these packets over, this packet over, using these 3 fingers or 2 fingers, whatever is more comfortable for you, to support that rotation. And you just turn your non-dealer's grip hand inwards so that the packet goes into your hand like this, and you're basically where you originally started in order to do that one-handed cut that I mentioned earlier. You see? So it's very cyclical. So once you're here, you drop this packet, or you make this packet flush with this packet. You make some room inside your palm in the dealer's grip hand, and you just turn this entire packet over and into the dealer's grip hand. So now you're here. So that's where you should strive to get to until you continue to the next part. Alright, so now that you've gotten this far, here is where you are in the original starting position for the one-handed cut. So now this closer motion is actually optional, because if you wanted to, you could just end the flourish by dropping this packet onto the bottom packet. But if you want to continue with this closing motion that I came up with, what you're going to do is, once you're in this position, your thumb is going to touch the bottom, the back edge of this packet that's inside your dealer's grip hand. So now you're kind of like, you can actually just carry this entire packet using these two fingers, the middle finger and your thumb of the non-dealer's grip hand. And this is kind of like an interlocking motion. What you need to do now is, it's a bit tricky if you're not familiar with interlocking motions. And it might be difficult if your finger length is not as long as some other people, but you just have to practice it until you get it. Try to fiddle around with your finger positioning so that you get as much clearance as possible while you're doing it. But of course, don't like grip the packet so thinly that you won't be able to support the entire packet. But try to stretch your fingers as much as possible if you're having trouble with this part. What you need to do is bring this packet back like this around the thumb. So in order to achieve that motion, you kind of need to first move this packet downwards. So without this packet, you have to move this packet downwards in this manner. And you need to move this packet upwards like this. So this edge, you need to be careful that it does not interfere too much with this packet. If you're having trouble with that, maybe you need to grip the packet a bit more towards the middle parts of the front and back edge. So once you're able to get to this part, where your index, your middle finger of the non-dealer's grip hand and the thumb of the dealer's grip hand are kind of crossed in this manner, then it becomes a bit more simpler. Once you are able to cross this step, your index finger and the middle finger and ring finger of your dealer's grip hand is going to clamp onto this packet like this. So if I remove this packet, it just looks like this. You're going to clamp onto this packet so that this packet remains in a secure position while you continue with the closing motion. So, you're here. You bring this packet around your thumb, and then you clamp onto this packet like this. So then you can actually disengage your thumb from this packet and it's still in a secure position. So while you're here, you just disengage your thumb and you lift your thumb up so that you can aid this motion like this. Then the packet just falls around your thumb. So I'll just omit the initial part of the flourish, but you're in this position. You grab this packet, you bring it around your thumb, you clamp onto this packet, your thumb can be released from the bottom packet, and then you just need to turn your entire wrist over as this packet falls into your palm. And that's basically the entire closing motion. So from the top, and then you just bring that packet down. So once you are able to get past that point where the packets have to kind of interlock for a moment, it should be a bit easier to continue with the rest of the flourish. But yep, that's about the whole flourish. I tried my best to explain each step in as much detail as possible, and I hope you guys enjoyed learning this flourish as much as I enjoyed teaching it to you. Thanks.